Hi everyone, I got a quick thing I'd like to talk about. That I was doing some studying of the phonics of the English language, okay? And there's a lot of hidden code in the English words. So it's important to understand that you want to look at the English language because, you know, you can decode it in every word that comes out of our mouths, and also the things that are, like I've talked about in t-shirts, things we say are spells. So you got to be careful about using certain words because you're casting spells. That's why they call it spelling, because you're putting spells out there, right? Every time you open up your mouth, or visual spells of things on t-shirts. That's why I get so disturbed sometimes when I'm rocking around you know, some of these parks and stuff where they have children carousels and things like that, where I see, you know, these nasty shirts. You know, it talks about, I was drunk until I couldn't stand up, and I'm with the drunk one, and this and that, you know, and they're holding the hands of their children. I'm like, you kidding me? I mean, I've seen some filthy words on these t-shirts these days that never used to exist in my reality. Matter of fact, if you walked down the streets in the 70s, the 60s, and the 50s with lettering like that, you probably would have been beaten to pulp or cussed at and kicked off the street. That's how sad it is in our world anymore, that we're casting spells on ourselves, our children are reading it, and, you know, so we've adopted all this garbage, right? So I'm sorry, not trying to be negative, it was stay focused on phonics. So, and I'm a little tired, I'm sorry, because I did construction, then I had a flat tire. Are you kidding me? And it was a Suburban, because I had to have a, I don't know if you've seen the some of my photos of my vehicle, that I have a tire that I'd step on top. It's a long story that I had to put up there, so it takes me 30 minutes to unravel that, get the thing. In a Suburban, you have to jack it up really high because it's four-wheel drive. Anyway, so I'm exhausted. So I apologize for my rambling, okay? Look at the little shiny you see. Now, what I got there, the photo you're looking at, is the moon. And I'm just holding that there, something to look at instead of my dashboard with all the, you usually see my service engine light, my cargo door jar, everything's falling apart in this vehicle. But it's still going. It's like Kirk, I'm just going to be tough and hang in there. It looks like you got some sparkling, some lights and flashing. But anyway, so here's the thing on phonics that was really interesting. I want to do a Mandela effect decoding on it, and I finally got, I mean, there's a couple that I've got an idea of how to decode some of the Mandela effects. This one has to do with Different Strokes, the TV show from the 80s with Gary Coleman and I can't remember the other ones, but anyway, where they had the two, I'm not being racist, the two black kids that are adopted into to the family with him and his daughter. God, what was his name? Well, it doesn't matter, right? Different Strokes. Now, the old reality that we lived in our timeline, it was Different Strokes, just one word. There was no apostrophe in there, right? Now it says diff apostrophe strokes. And normally I put a video, I wish I could do that to show you that. But it says diff, then apostrophe rent. You can look it up and Google it. And it says strokes, okay? It was never that way. So here's what that I discovered in this process, that it's being different, that he is renting the two black children, that instead of adopting, he's just renting them. They're not really his children, they're on rent. Are you kidding me? So it's and they're different because it's a different type of rent. He's renting, he's rich, they're poor, he's white, they're Caucasian white, they're black children, and see, it's different. See, it's a different type of rent. Now, I'm going to dig deeper into this, on this decoding. Now, that's just like the word parent. So you get it, pair, rent, it's a pair, it's a couple. So the husband and wife are just a couple, they're a pair that is renting the children. Are you kidding me? You know what I'm saying? Renting. These, when you start decoding the phonics of the English language, there is so much filth in the dang language. Some of it gets very disgusting and sexual. I mean, just outright blasphemy when you start to study some of the things. Like even the moon, it's honey moon on purpose. Moon. the honey, and you're worshiping. And a marriage, see, a marriage, it's a it's a mare, like a horse, a mare, and age, okay, mare, the horse age, okay. And well, that's not a good example, but there's a lot of other examples of, like a bride, like a bridle. See, that's what you do to a horse, is you put on the bridle to keep him under control, right? So it's like saying, well, you have a husband and wife, that you marry them together to put them under control, or especially the mare, the horse. You kidding me, folks? So there's a lot of things, like even an airplane, not to be a cockpit. The airplane's shaped like a phallus. You get it? I mean, it gets downright filthy. Now, I don't want to go any more about that because I don't want to be a filthy pervert with my mouth. Remember, we're casting spells every time we talk. Okay? So here's the question that I'm trying to figure out. Like, there's other things like, live is evil backwards. Love is also evil, like backwards. Devil is lived, like I said. Devil, lived, okay? So there's a lot of phonics. Sometimes it's the combination of words, the prefix, suffix. Sometimes you have verse words and everything else, right? Just like songs and other things like this, okay? So what my question becomes is, when did the English language get hijacked? And because you start studying a lot of the basis of our entire language is been hijacked, okay, by evil. It has. Like kindergarten, it's a kinder garden, okay? A kinder garden. It's not so bad as the other, right? A kinder garden. And also, garden actually used to be guard. So the garden of Adam and Eve, they were on guard. It's a garden. It's being guarded by the spiritual realm or whatever, right? That is actually a garden, almost like a prison. It was a prison, folks. That's what garden is. Because look at a garden, you usually put a fence around it, and you have your flowers, and you put other things in there, and beautiful plants and things like this. And so basically, you put this fence up, but everything in it is trapped. You can put a rabbit in there, it's trapped, right? Trapped in in your garden. So the garden was being guarded and held. Are you kidding me? So that even the story of Adam and Eve, there is this garden, they're trapped in a garden, being guarded. Wow. I mean, it gets deeper than that, folks. And I don't want to go in this video about that Garden of Eden, because a brother actually decoded a lot of this about the Garden of Eden. I took him from some of this stuff. I'm trying to, well, looks like the moon's wobbling or something here. That's weird. All right, well, it's just going down the horizon. Anyway, so here's the thing: is I know it's already 8 minutes. Probably quit the talk. There's a lot more that I can talk about. I mean, you can spend hours decoding and talking about, like seamen. Not to, it's actually sea men on the seas. So a lot of our phonics are actually based on oceans and waves and things like this. You know what I mean? If you study a lot of it, the basis of the original phonics is based off of, because back in that day, a lot of our world and the way that the world operated was by sailing and oceans and boats and fishing and things like that, and goods being transported. The Phoenicians were one of the original exporters and importers of goods. They weren't just good at phonics. The reason they had to do this because they were one of the best importers and exporters of things around the world. So that's why they developed the language system, so that they could actually communicate with all these different languages around the world. So anyway, so I'll talk more about that. So anyway, so decoding, started to go on about it. Different strokes. That's the decode on it. So we're kind of being made fun of. All humankind is being made fun of, and also especially that one's even a little bit extra icing on the cake. They put it in there. Guess what? That's another thing I'll tell you. Cake actually stands for placenta when you pull it down to the original a conversion. And not kidding you, placenta. And I want to go further than that right now, so you can do a little thought on that one. There's a lot of stuff that's in there. A lot of stuff about the moon. A lot of moon. A lot about horses, mares, and, you know. Well, I just realized that. What a mare of a town, just a mare. You know, just a horse. He's got a horse's mouth. You kidding me? It's like the stock market. Your cattle. See? Stock market. Tell you right there. And bond. You got to bond yourself out of the system. So stocks and bonds. I mean, they're putting it right in front of your face, folks, the evil. Just right there. Right in our language. So anyway, God bless, and I'll try to do some more about that, but I just want to get more about the Mandela effect. So I'm hoping there's more decoders of Mandela effect, because we heard so much about, you know, this is changing, visuals, songs. Nobody's really sat down and started decoding the Mandela effect of what they mean, and some are obvious, but you know, why and what is trying to be communicated through some of these means of the Mandela effect. Okay? All right, again, God bless and love you all.